Good morning. Good Monday morning. I hope you're having a great day. I'm delighted to be with you. We're going to spend some time talking about you and your business. We've got a lot to cover on today's program. I'm going to cue it up with my good friend Marc Krasney. He's an attorney with the Krasney Law Firm. That's Krasney lawfirm.com. We're going to talk a little bit about business formalities. They seem so boring, but let me tell you, they're pretty crucial. They keep you out of trouble and keep you on the right stead. Before we talk about that, Marc, tell us a little bit more about the Krasney Law Firm.
Hey, Kevin. What we did was probably 7 years ago started this firm and tried to look at what clients needed. And most clients would love to have an in-house counsel, but they can't afford it. So my law firm basically allows a client, a business, to just sub that work out to us. Treat us like your in-house counsel. So we answer, the everyday questions, we review contracts, we, get involved in the management team and do it all on a flat fee.
Okay.
So our business is totally different than the typical law firm.
Very good, very good. And our topic today?
What I was looking at was corporate formalities and alter ego. Those are some pretty fancy phrases, and all it simply means is when people get started with a company, an LLC, a corporation, they do all that jazz with the Secretary of State, get back this number, go set up the bank account, and most businesses forget about the rest of it. And so what happens down the road when you don't put minutes in your corporate book, you mix your personal funds with your corporate funds, and you don't observe corporate formalities, and then you have an accident or some big problem, a lawsuit, something comes up, you get a plaintiff's lawyer who pleads something called alter ego. And all that simply means is we're going to disregard the entity that you set up, that fancy stuff you did with the Secretary of State, and we're going after you personally. That is a huge issue for many, many people because they just don't realize that can happen.
Yeah, and people think they get a corporate status. They should be protected from that, right?
Well, typically, yes. When you set up that entity, you get the corporate liability protection, but if you don't observe the corporate formalities that go with that, then you could have personal liability. And let me just give you an example. Say a trucking company starts, and they're an LLC or a corporation, whatever, and they want the corporate protection so that personal liability of the shareholders is not there. On day one, that might be true. Fast forward 3, 4, 5 years down the road, company's doing really, really well, but they really haven't done anything else with that entity. There is no corporate book to speak of. There are no minutes to speak of. The bank accounts really have not been differentiated. Maybe I pay my mortgage with the corporate funds, things like that. And then there's an accident. And all of a sudden the plaintiff's lawyer says, you know what, guys? If you haven't done what you're supposed to do with the corporation, I don't want the court to see there's a corporation even there. Disregard it. I'm going after the shareholders. There's case law that allows that.
That's interesting. I think that would surprise most people.
It's scary, too, and it happens. And, you'll have insurance policies, and, you want the insurance policies to pay, but a lot of times, again, say that trucking accident, maybe you only had, $1 million policy. Mm-hmm. Maybe the accident, maybe you get a judgment for $5 million. Who's going to pay the other $4 million?
Yeah.
Well, it could be personal liability right there.
So what kind of things can a company do to make sure that they're insulated from that type of thing from happening?
You want to make sure that you observe the corporate formalities. So, you start the entity, you want to have your bylaws in place if you're a corporation, a company agreement if you're an LLC. You want to at least do the things that your governing documents say the entity has to do. Minutes once a year. You want to make sure when you set up your bank account, you set up that bank account with your tax ID number. You don't operate it out of your personal, funds. You don't use your own personal Social Security number. You want to make sure that you sign things on behalf of the entity, not as you personally. Things like that so that you tell the world, whatever I'm doing in this business, I'm operating as the business and not you personally. So whenever you disregard the corporate formality, somebody else, and especially a plaintiff's lawyer, could do that down the road.
Got about a minute left, and I want to give that website, KrasneyLawFirm.com. One more time, KrasneyLawFirm.com. Give us a couple of quick things that people should have in mind when questions they should ask themselves when it comes to their plans, their formalities.
Well, have they done all that proper work? And what I would always tell clients to do, you need to have a really good lawyer who can help you with that corporate stuff, because most clients know how to do the service, or they know how to make the widgets. Stick with that. Clients don't need to know the legal stuff. Let a good lawyer do that. And the second thing is, have a really good CPA that helps that customer, that client, work through those numbers and plan for strategies and things like that for things that happen in the future. Again, the client doesn't know how to do taxes or plan for strategies and stuff. They know how to do the service or make the widget. So the best advice I can always give, get a good lawyer on day one, get a good CPA, and that business will thrive.
Very good, very good. KrasneyLawFirm.com, what's the phone number?
Sure, it's 713-589-8100.
One more time.
713-589-8100.
When we come back, we're going to have much more for you. Do want to remind you, of course, the best content here shows up over there at usdailyreview.com. While there, make sure you like it on Facebook, follow it on Twitter, and you're listening to The Price of Business.